Welcome back to Starkiller Base. I want to take a moment and make a short video here to make a few clarifications on our RRG video. The first has to do with focus here. I've noticed that on the Facebook group and a lot of the forums and whatnot, I've seen people that think that the changes to focus are great, how they can resolve focus on their own dice and leave it in the pool and all this sort of stuff, and there seems to be a lot of confusion surrounding it. I hope I didn't mislead people in my video. And it may just be the interpretation from the RRG, but either way I'd like to address that. So the thing is that I think the definition of focus in 1.3 here, where it says turn a number of other dice in the player's pool to the size of their choice, I think that the way that they wanted to design My Ally is the Force is actually to have it work by focusing your own dice, and the definition of focus in 1.3 stifled that ability. So they changed it to just say turns a number of dice in the player's pool to the size of their choice. Now, this does allow you to do some things that it didn't before. With My Ally as the Force specifically, it allows you to take your focus die on Luke and then focus that die itself to a 3 melee because it stays in the pool for My Ally as the Force, and then with the ambush action resolve the 3 melee at your opponent. With a regular focus die, where My Ally as the Force is not in question here, what ends up happening is that the part of the cost of resolving the die is that you remove the die. So as far as I understand, essentially what you would do is you would say, okay, I have this one focus die here. I'm resolving focus. I'm going to focus the focus die itself, and all you essentially do is take the focus die off the board and put it back on your character. Now, this actually does have some uses. Let's say that I've got a 2 focus on my one with the Force, and you've got a Force throw out there. I can say, okay, I'm going to resolve focus. I'm going to focus this die itself and just remove it from the board. I mean, it works the same way as saying, okay, I'm going to resolve these shield dice when I have 3 shields on my characters. Or I'm going to resolve discard when you've got no cards in hand. Or I'm going to resolve disrupt when you've got no money. Those are all legal plays. So I guess it makes sense that focus would allow you to do that as well. So the other thing I wanted to clarify was this example for simultaneous abilities. One of the channel's viewers named Lucas wrote in the comments and actually said that the example was wrong, and he's actually correct. My understanding of it was a little bit off, and I guess I shouldn't have made that part of the video so late at night. So let's say that we have this situation here. Han Solo's here. He's got a fast hands. He has the battlefield, and he has a resource. And let's say that Han rolls in, and he gets a 3-for-1 and a blank here. Now, the Han player gets to decide whether he gets to trigger all of his triggers from this triggering condition first, or whether the Django player gets to do so. So in this case, let's say that Han says, okay, I'm going to do mine first, and then he pays 1, and he does 3 damage to the Django. And then Django can roll in afterwards and activate and get his, say he rolls in and he gets this. That's all well and good, and it doesn't really matter too much in this case. So, if Django did hit the resource, he could salvage stand, but Han doesn't have any money. So, okay, let's say that Han says the Django player can go first. The way that this works is where it's a little bit confusing. So Han rolls in, he gets his 3-for-1, he gets his blank. And I'm having trouble getting the dice in the right place. And then he says, okay, Django, you can go first with your triggers now. So Django now rolls in. He gets a 2 ranged. He gets a resource. Now that is an ability that triggered off of Han's triggering condition of activating. Now, the thing is, right now, you're only resolving abilities that trigger off of this triggering condition of Han Solo rolling in. So the Django player cannot choose to do salvage stand yet, because all of the other abilities that trigger off of this original triggering condition have to resolve before any new triggering condition abilities can trigger. So even though Django rolled in and got his resource side, he's used up all of his abilities that trigger off of Han activating, and now it's the Han player's turn to do so. He can resolve the 3 range damage, pay the 1, and then it would continue on to the next triggering condition, which in this case is Django rolling a resource. So if Han had another resource still, now this is where salvage stand could hit. So you have to resolve all of the abilities that trigger off of a single triggering condition first, and if any subsequent triggering conditions are created in doing so, they will be resolved afterwards in the order that they occur. So I hope that makes sense. Now let's say that we have the opposite situation where Django has the battlefield. It's not going to change very much because in this case, you're still reacting to Han rolling in. So let's say that Han rolls in. He gets this stuff here. The Django player says, okay, I'm going to exercise my abilities off of the Han Solo activating triggering condition first. I roll in. I get a resource and a 2 ranged. Now, because we're still resolving abilities that trigger off of this original triggering condition, it doesn't matter that Django rolled his resource yet for salvage stand, because the Han player gets to resolve his triggers for Han rolling in first, which again is the 3 damage for 1, gets rid of the resource, and then again, if Han had another resource, then Django could now trigger the salvage stand because everything is done for the Han Solo triggering. So I hope that this example makes more sense now. I didn't want to lead people astray and just leave the other example incorrect and teach people how to play the game wrong. I actually had someone speak to Lucas Litzinger, the lead designer, directly to make sure that this is actually the case, and it is. So there you go. So we'll see you next time on Starkiller Base. Thanks for watching, everybody.